It is with a heavy heart we must announce that the tagline has been canceled and we are currently shopping it around to Apple, Netflix, and Amazon. Fingers crossed. Hello and welcome to the Cinefanatics. This is the tagline. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we got a lot to talk about tonight. So let's just jump straight to our big topic. Coyote versus Acme. What do you think? Just kidding.
Completely throwing everything with how we do the show off.
Yeah, this is quite possibly like one of the biggest like show notes I think we've ever had on one of these. Just so much to talk about.
And we're going to still crank it out in an hour 15. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I want to try to get through some of this pretty quick. First of all, thank y'all for being here. Everyone who's watching, anyone who's watching, we thank you for being here. Let's do the YouTube things real quick. Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. You got any questions, comments, issues, complaints? Take it up with Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. As long as you take it up with a couple of dead presidents attached to it, that would be great. Also, Patreon.com/Cinefanatics. Patreon, the Patreon watch along is tonight after the tagline. So if you are at the $5 tier on our Patreon, we are watching the original 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That is going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Like I had the whole movie dialogue script, everything memorized. So hop on that $5 tier. Come join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very much look forward to seeing a lot of people there for that. You haven't seen the 1990 Ninja Turtles, huh?
I might have, but I don't remember when it was, how old I was. So I might as well have not seen it, to be honest.
I was saying, because I watched it so much as a kid that very likely you've probably just like watched a bunch of it while walking past me watching it.
I'd recognize parts of it, but at the same time, I would also get it confused with the two that followed. So,
yeah. So we are watching that tonight. And then Wednesday, November 29th, we will be doing our movie trivia hangout. So come join us again after tagline around 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. Again, if you're at the $5 tier on the Patreon, come join us for that. Upcoming shows that we have on the 17th. So this coming Friday, we are doing the Marquee, and this is going to be us tier ranking family-focused movies about families, not family-friendly movies, because a lot of these do have some choice words in them. But movies about families, whether they're happy families or families breaking apart or whatever, they're about families first and foremost.
Family.
And cars and Fast and the Furious. But also Ninja Turtles is on there, hence why we're watching it tonight. So yeah, that will be this Friday, the 17th at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Anyways, I think that covers up for everything that we have coming up.
Yeah.
And let's talk about like what movies you've watched over this past week. Of course, save the recommendation, the tagline recommendations to last. We'll talk about those here in a little bit, but
for sure. So movies watched this week. Obviously, we've both seen the Marvels, so we have things to say about the Marvels. We did a review for that. It's up on this channel. You can go check it out whenever you get a chance. Following this program that we're doing right now, but also saw the Squid and the Whale and the Addams Family, two movies that will be featured on the Marquee at the end of this month. So, or at the end of this week, I should say. This week? Next week?
This Friday.
I know you literally just said it. Yeah. So yeah, two movies will be featured on the Marquee at the end of this week. So probably we'll share more about how I feel about those then as well. So outside of the tagline recommendation that I've been given this week, that covers the gamut of the movies that I've seen.
So yes, I was also there for the viewing of the Marvels. Again, we have the review up on the channel, so that's available to watch now. I know it's a little bit long, but man, I feel like we had a really good discussion. We really got to like the meat of some of like how this movie is, why some people may not like it, type of thing. I think it was a good discussion and review for that. So go check that out if you haven't already. I have watched. I feel like this has been like the biggest week of movies that I've ever watched. Yeah, gee, I wonder why. So I watched Hobo with the Shotgun, which was like the only movie from Grindhouse that came out in 2007 that I feel like I saw it before, but I don't remember. So I did sit here and rewatch it again, I guess. So I watched that for a reason. There will be a ranking coming pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. I did watch The Killer, that David Fincher movie. Yeah, I understand a lot of people are singing praises about it. I did find it kind of slow. The beginning was very interesting. I thought the whole, like, his whole narration and everything, I thought it was very, very intriguing, but the movie just kind of loses me. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm a huge fan of, like, I would say 90s Fincher, but not so much, pretty much anything he's done, like, 2000s on. So I don't know. He's made like a lot of like critically acclaimed movies, but just for some reason, I just don't connect with them.
Yeah, because you're a weirdo. You're one of those weirdos that doesn't like The Social Network, you weirdo. Freaking weirdo.
Yeah, like, I don't know what it is about Social Network. I was just like, oh, okay.
I don't know either. You're a weirdo.
I did watch Royal Tenenbaums, so I'm slowly making my way through Wes Anderson movies.
Yes.
Probably be talking about that sometime later this week.
I do like that you didn't even bother trying to finish the name of the show notes. You're just like, Royal Tenen. Okay, we know.
Yeah, do you see how much stuff I'm trying to squeeze in on that line?
I know what I'm talking about. Move on.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I did watch a movie called Your Lucky Day. This was a movie that premiered at Fantastic Fest. I just didn't have an opportunity to go watch it. There was like other things I wanted to go check out and watch. But this was a big one, kind of like the movie I'm raving about, Last Stop in Yuma County. It's very similar to that in that it's like a bottle movie, meaning it just takes place in one location pretty much throughout the entire movie. I will say I did like Last Stop in Yuma County better. I think it was Last Stop in Yuma County is a black comedy or dark comedy. Black comedy. I don't know if those are interchangeable or if that.
I don't think they are.
Black comedy means something completely different.
I don't think those are interchangeable.
Dark comedy, not black comedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Freud.
Oh, welcome, special guest. But yeah, it's a dark comedy. I did enjoy. I like the dark comedy nature of that movie of Last Stop in Yuma County. But this one's a little bit more straightforward and depressing. It's more realistic. It's not so much. There's not really any comedy at all, unless you just want to laugh at the way the characters talk or whatever. I don't know. Some of the way that they interact is kind of strange, but
you don't have any right to laugh at the way anybody talks.
Well, I'll bite my tongue on this one, but yeah, Chris, if you were to watch this movie, which you could watch, you would understand exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
William Harold, there's nothing to do in Yuma except filling your gas tank before crossing into California. That actually is the main crux of that movie, that all these people are stranded at a gas station because they have no gas and there's not another gas station for like another 100 miles in any direction. So that is the point of that movie. So good call there. You would probably like that movie then.
Is that one of the counties that we passed through on our way to California?
I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, if we ever drive to California again, if we ever drive to California again, and it is, I want to stop. The diner, gas station, motel that they use in the movie is a real place, so I would like to go there. I'm going to stop talking about a movie that none of the rest of y'all have ever seen, so or you don't have the opportunity to see it probably for like another year, because who knows when it's going to come out. But yeah, Your Lucky Day was pretty good. It is available like on streaming services, so go check that out. And then, of course, we also watched the movie for the challenge for last week. Last week, I had Tim Franco recommended Ghost Watch, and you were recommended Song of the Sea.
I was recommended Song of the Sea by Nerd.
By Commentatoring Nerd. So, what did you think of Song of the Sea?
Cute. Really cute movie. Easy watch, hour and a half. It is very heavy in Irish folklore. It's themed very heavily in like Celtic themes, Irish folklore themes, names of people. I'd say really the biggest name in the movie, I believe, was Brendan Gleeson. And he was doing the voice of one of the kids in the movie's father. I would not be able to sit here and explain to you exactly what the movie's about, just because it involves a lot of like fantasy elements and with like fairies and like the spirit realm and everything. But the animation of the movie is actually, it's very simple, but it's very beautiful. Very well done. It feels really kind of like a very simple story, but just built very heavily around, like I said, a lot of the Irish folklore and Celtic themes and whatnot. Music, gorgeous. The music in the movie is absolutely gorgeous, which it does play a big part considering the movie's called Song of the Sea. There is a titular song in the movie. So it's, music is a big piece of that.
Song of the Sea?
It's the Song of the Sea. But yeah, very good movie. Very good.
Awesome. So I got recommended to watch Ghostwatch. Ghostwatch was something interesting, and I think probably about most of my appreciation of Ghostwatch was reading what it was about and what happened in regards to the making of this. It is a movie. It is filmed as a movie, but it was released on on BBC One. This is a British like news segment, kind of like if you get. Let's use the example of like we have like Dateline NBC, which is primarily like a news source, or like 60 Minutes. Say like if Dateline is doing a full hour or so about child predators, To Catch a Predator, their whole To Catch a Predator series. It's kind of similar to that in that it's a news station that it involves people primarily who work in media broadcasting. So when it aired, everyone thought it was a real news broadcasting, that it was being broadcast live, even though it was pre-recorded. And it is basically this news organization is trying to check out this house, this family that has like paranormal activity going on in it. It is an early precursor. This came out in 1992, October 31st, 1992 to be exact. And it came out, and it's an early precursor to found footage films. This is very similar to Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity. And they interview, they have a line where people could call in to talk about their paranormal experiences and stuff. This all played out. Again, this is all pre-recorded, but they had like a live phone line that viewers could call in live. And as soon as they called in, the first thing that the operator who answered the phone would say, "It's all fake." But like they had like over 1 million calls to like their FCC, whatever their FCC is.
I would just rolled with a busy signal, so people thought that they just couldn't get through.
That, or the other thing is they actually said that this movie is responsible for causing post-traumatic stress in kids who were unfortunately awake to watch it. It did air like after 9:00 their time on Halloween night. So the idea is like the kids should be going to bed, even though they're probably all hyped up on sugar at that time. But yeah, it was very interesting. And the whole thing just played out like a straightforward news program. And that's what locked me in. That's what got my attention, as I was like, I'm sitting here trying to watch this as if I'm British over in England, watching this live with my family back in 1992, and I would be losing my mind. But like it's so amazing how well they pulled this off. And it's not really I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie. It's like watching like those ghost hunters reality shows nowadays. It's very similar to that. But yeah, there's like very little language. There's no gore. There's barely any blood. It is just an eerie, spooky feeling that just gets bigger and bigger as the program continues on. And that is program with an E on the end, by the way. So that was a great recommendation. My thanks to Tim Franco for recommending that. I had fun with that.
You say you watched it like you were British. I was imagining like you sit down with your spot of tea, put some beans on some toast, and turn on the telly.
Exactly. I would do all of that.
Anyways. Oh, cool, man. Beans on toast? That's poor man's food right there.
That's actually an English breakfast, so I wouldn't be watching that at 9 o'clock at night.
You ever had English Brenner?
English Brenner, yeah. Anyways, so that's our thoughts over the challenged ones. Let's do it again this week. That was a lot of fun. So first off, real quick, I'm not certain if we're going to have a tagline next week. Next week is Thanksgiving, so I don't know if we will be doing a tagline Wednesday night. I guess it just really depends on if there is like any major movie news that we want to talk about, which I'm expecting the other 3/4 of the Fantastic Forecasting by then. So
yeah,
more likely we'll probably talk about that, but I'm not certain if we're going to have one. So we're going to do the challenge again. But if we don't do tagline next week, then we'll talk about these movies the week after. So,
yeah, I would assume we're doing tagline next week. But yeah, like you said, we'll talk about them whenever we do a tagline again, if not next week.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and one other addition that I would like to add to it this week, or potentially going forward for right now. If you are choosing or you're recommending a movie for us, Snyder is Breaking Galactus will be Javier Bardem. Nice. We'll look at that here in a minute. But if you are recommending a movie for us, I know this might be just a little bit of extra work and it would help us out a lot. But if we could try to stick to movies that are primarily streaming on most of the current streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, Max. I think we have like Amazon. What do we got? Peacock, Paramount.
Yeah.
I mean, we got access to the most popular ones, Shudder. So yeah, if maybe it's on Tubi, that would be fine. But yeah, if we could stick to those, that way we're not having to actually spend money to go rent them or whatever off of Amazon or YouTube. Because Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics, we're broke. We are closing in on half of this month and rent is going to be very hard. So yes, streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. Please help us out. Also,
yes. So on as far as the challenge goes, go ahead and like try to keep to streaming services for us. It would be like really helpful.
Also, I'm going to add into this that if you happen to be in a position where you know of job openings, please DM me on the socials. That would be nice. Yes, Tubi does count, William. So yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and we'll start with me. What do you have to recommend for me? Knowing that I like horror, let's not do like too much like homemade movies type of thing, but I really like good suggestions of like movies that right now I actually would like someone to force me to watch a movie that I've never seen that I should have seen by now. I run a movie YouTube channel, been doing this for years. Yeah, The Stuff.
You've never seen that movie.
I've never seen The Stuff. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite like B, or that's not even a B movie. That's more like C. It is so good. I love The Stuff. I can't get enough of The Stuff. They need to do that with the Barbie, so we could say you can't get enough of The Stuff. That would be a stretch. But yeah, what do y'all got for recommendations for me? I see we got a good amount of people in there. What do y'all recommend? Just throw in a movie or something.
First one,
I know it might take a little extra time to look.
First one he sees that he hasn't seen, he will do, and then we'll likely do the same thing with me.
Yeah. So while we wait for another suggestion to pop up, but yeah, if anyone knows of any job openings that could possibly be done here in Austin, Texas, or even remotely, please let me know, DM me, so we can keep a roof over our head. Watching movies does not pay the bills yet. Hopefully, maybe, possibly one day, that would be great, but
all right. Well, while we do that, while we wait for people, because we got a lot to cover, we need to actually move on to some movie news. So, folks, just first person for my brother, put the name in there. First person for me, put my name in there, and we will click on those when we see them.
Okay. We'll go ahead and jump into movie news, though.
Yep.
Let's go to movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
back to you.
All right, let's talk about box office real quick. Got a lot to cover. Box office right now is looking pretty Marvel. Looking pretty Marvel right now. Because a Marvel movie released, guess what number one is? It's a Marvel movie. It is actually a movie called The Marvels. The thing is, though, even though it is the number one movie this week at the box office, it's not the number one movie that Marvel has ever released box office wise. It's actually the lowest grossing opening that they've had for any single film, which is unfortunate because the movie actually doesn't deserve that. It actually is a good movie, a fun movie, a good time at the theater. But it grossed domestically about $46 million. We're looking at worldwide with about 115 million. So not exactly where Marvel really wants that movie to be. Especially because that movie has, I believe, a upwards of $200 million probably dollar budget, something like that. So it's definitely worth going to check out for sure, but it's not doing so hot in the box office right now. Hopefully it'll catch a little bit of legs and start getting a little bit higher from week to week with some good word of mouth from some folks. I know it's kind of mixed reviews critically, but we'll see. Number 2 movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, still hanging in there. Doing pretty good with another 8.9 million. So that movie's probably made all the money it actually needs to make, and if it fell off the top 10 right now, it would be okay as far as their financials and budget go. We're not expecting that movie to probably make too much more after about 3 weeks having been in the box office, and it's no longer Halloween. Probably going to see that start slipping down the list as some of these other new movies start coming out. Number 3, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. I don't know how long the Eras Tour is going to be in theaters for, but I think as long as it's in theaters, it's going to be somewhere in that top 10 for probably the rest of this year, I would imagine. So get used to hearing Taylor Swift in the top 10 for the next few taglines, I would say.
We didn't know about that ahead of time. We could have been doing like Swift Watch or something.
Right? Swift Watch. Number 4 is Priscilla. Number 5, Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 6, The Holdovers. Number 7 is Journey to Bethlehem. So, I imagine it's a faith-based film about the birth of Jesus. Fitting for this time of year, I would assume. Number 8, Tiger 3, which does look like a foreign film, an international release.
It's Indian. It's a part of
the Tiger series of films, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's like a cinematic universe that involves like Tiger. So the only reason I know about this is because our buddy Sean Chandler went to go see it with his wife like a couple of nights ago or so, and he's been talking about it. So I was like, what is Tiger 3? And I looked it up. I was like, man, there's like, you want to talk about doing homework for one particular movie? There's like 5 other movies you would need to watch before you watch Tiger 3. But yeah, apparently it's really popular. So
you have to watch Tiger 1 and Tiger 2. You also have to watch Lion. You have to also watch Cougar. That one's very interesting.
They're not named that way. Yeah, Cougar would be an interesting movie. It might be cool to watch it.
And then later on, they're planning on releasing Bobcat. So stick around.
So stupid.
Listen, they're going to jump the shark whenever they get to House Cat.
Or jump the shark.
Number 9, Tiger Shark. Number 9 is Radical. And number 10 is... Who cares about number 10? It's some dog movie. Anyway, that's your box office. That's your top 10 of the box office.
All right. So we did get... Jeremy got a recommendation for me that Nolan Will Save You on Hulu, which I haven't watched. That is a horror movie that I needed to watch for this year, so I will definitely be knocking that one out. Still need a movie for Chris. Who wants to recommend a movie for Senor Christopher over here? That doesn't mean give us a Spanish film. But
if I don't get one in the next 5 minutes, I'm watching Nimona on Netflix.
I mean, that's a good one too, but
I'm not.
This isn't the recommendation, but he's just asking about dog movie Cujo.
I'm not watching Cujo. No,
you could watch Cujo.
I don't want to watch Cujo.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the box office. Trying to think if I want to like move some of these stories around. Let's get to delays and announcements first. There's been Is this a regular movie or is this a Balto is a dog movie? Are you talking about the movie Shaft, like the original 1970s, or the 2000 remake with Samuel L. Jackson? Which that one I would recommend. That's a good movie.
Or is this a movie that you can find on a website that has the letter X in it somewhere?
Chris needs to watch The Shaft. What is The Shaft?
What is
a
The
Netflix film.
Let me look it up. Start the news story.
Anyways, so yeah, as I said last week, that we're probably going to get inundated with a ton of like delays and announcements and moving around. I was right. I'm not going to like be prideful about that because I was kind of like no shit. But so announcements and delays. So I'm going to try to breeze through some of these. Some of these I do have like a little bit. No, the horror movie, The Shaft. Oh, is that the one? Give me just a sec. I'm wondering if this is the one that I'm thinking of. Go away.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Honestly, I'm going to hard pass, Brian. No on this one. Star Trek 5 for Chris.
It is called The Shaft, but it looks like it's also called Down.
From what I'm seeing, it's going to be a big 10 no there. There's people apparently being decapitated and body parts being cut off and stuff. So,
and Chris is definitely not going to want to watch Brain Scan. I have seen Brain Scan. No, that's the one I was thinking of. I can't remember what this movie is called, but I've been wanting to watch it too, where like they send food down on an elevator and the prisoners take food as it's coming down, and the people who are at the bottom of this elevator get whatever's left or whatever the prisoners above them put on the tray for people to eat. Yeah, it sounds, yeah. But yeah, I want to know what that movie is too, because I've heard people recommending it before.
I like William Harold's Star Trek 5, even though I actually need to watch the entirety of the Star Trek movie series, except for the new ones that came out. And Generations. I've seen that one too. So.
Can we change that from Star Trek 5 to just Star Trek the Motion Picture?
Yeah. Let me start going through them. Let's make a deal.
Is Star Trek 5 the one with the whales? Is that the one where they go to Earth? Because
that was 4.
No, that is 4. That's right. Yeah, because 2 is the Wrath of Khan. 3 is where they are trying to go rescue Spock, and then 4 is Yeah, 4 is Wales, 5 is the terrible one. So you're recommending him to watch the terrible one. I would say, like, do Con, but watch the motion picture first. Even though the motion picture isn't as good as Wrath of Khan, especially if you're one like a Star Wars nerd, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. If you're a Star Trek nerd, you understand the familiarity of like the odd numbers are the bad ones and the even numbers are good. Yeah, 5 is the one that has God in it. I remember that now. Okay. Yeah.
That's such a weird choice for a Star Trek.
I would say make the challenge Wrath of Khan, but of course you're going to have to watch the motion picture first. If you want to be a completionist like that, you could probably just start with Wrath of Khan, because I don't think there's really anything tied between the two of them as far as I remember.
It was like the fact that I watched Addams Family Values before I watched The Addams Family.
Yeah. There really is no connection to it. But yeah. However you want to do it, but yeah, I would agree. Put Wrath of Khan on there. That would be a good one.
I could do both. I could do the original and Wrath of Khan. Are they both available somewhere?
Paramount.
Both in Paramount. Okay.
They will be on Paramount Plus. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know why I was beginning to look that up. Of course, they're on Paramount.
So, all right. So delays and announcements. So Venom 3 got delayed to November 8th of 2024, which, I mean, I think that's when Carnage, Let There Be Carnage, stupid title. Why wasn't that not Maximum Carnage? Anyway, soapbox over.
Tell me how you really feel.
So Venom 3 is coming out in November. Deadpool 3 has been moved to July 26th of 2024. It was supposed to come out, I believe, in May. And it's been pushed to July. So just a couple of months away. That's not bad. Though that is making Deadpool 3 the only MCU film in 2024.
And it's barely an MCU film.
And it's barely an MCU. The only reason it's an MCU film is because Kevin Feige was like, oh, hey, Deadpool, come on over. You can come join us. You could come play in our universe.
Nah,
that's the only reason.
The only reason it's an MCU film is because Disney bought Fox. That's why. That's the only reason. So, Captain America: Brave New World has been delayed to February 14th of 2025. So if you're a woman who's wanting to impress your man date or whatever gender you are, I'm just using this for stereotypical joke purposes, take him to go see Captain America, because that's how you get into a man's heart. Taking him to a comic book movie on Valentine's Day. It's weird. Because comic books aren't for girls.
Yeah.
Girls don't want to watch comic book female. They don't want to watch comic book movies. Stop caring towards girls. Stupid.
According to Twitter.
Stupid people.
Speaking of romantic, Blade has been delayed to November 7th of 2025.
You know what? Blade actually, so originally Blade should have already come out.
Yeah.
Was it like last week or a week or two ago? It was like, hey, we've got our review for Blade coming out, guys. We've seen it. Hasn't even been fully written yet.
Yeah. Thunderbolts has been delayed to July 25th of 2025. That makes 4 MCU movies in 2025. So we're only getting 1 in 2024, but 4 in 2025. Keep in mind, this is also not talking about the MCU like Disney Plus shows like Echo, and like we got the announcement that Wonder Man is about to start filming again now that the strikes are over. So that's also coming down the pipe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what next show was supposed to come out immediately following Echo. I know that they were trying to gear up Daredevil, but it looks like Daredevil's kind of going back to the writers. Yeah, gearing back towards the writers and kind of rewriting it too. So who knows? We might have like a largely MCU-less year outside of Echo and Deadpool.
Which again, and I know you and I were talking about this before. This may be good as far as like kind of calming down that superhero fatigue that a lot of people are talking about. I love having these Marvel movies coming out. I'm not bothered by how many they're releasing.
No.
Because I'm a big superhero comic book nerd. So I'm okay with that. but I do understand that, like, yeah, everything is so superhero now. What was it like a couple of years ago, or like 10 years ago or so? Everything was all about zombies. It was zombie this, zombie that. Walking Dead came out, and there were so many zombie movies. World War
Zombieland,
Z,
Warm Bodies,
Zombieland.
World War Z.
Yeah, all those started coming out, and like zombies were popular. Right before that, it was the vampires with all the whatchamacallit books.
Twilight, Abraham Lincoln,
Twilight.
Vampire Hunter.
Yeah. So we had vampire, zombie. Now we're in that superhero phase, and we are like deep into the superhero phase. So I understand when people who may not be, they may just be casual superhero fans of the movies and stuff, but they might not be big into the comic books or cartoons and stuff. I can understand the superhero fatigue from that, but man, that's going to be a lot. Now, I say that even though, again, there's only going to be one MCU movie in 2024. There's like 3 Sony Marvel movies in 2024. We've got this Madam Web that the trailer just dropped today. We got a reaction to that, so go check that out if you must. Well, you must go check out the trailer reaction. You don't have to enjoy the trailer. But you've got that. You've got Venom 3, and you still have Kraven that's coming out August. So there's still going to be a lot of superhero movies. The problem is I don't think the 3 of those are really going to help that superhero fatigue that people are complaining about. It's only going to make it worse. The
one Sony Marvel movie that we really want to see is probably going to be delayed to 2025 at this point.
Yeah. Actually, I think it already is.
Beyond the Spider-Verse, yeah. So that is, that's an unfortunate thing, but
yeah. On the DC side of things, it was announced that Superman Legacy was announced for July 11th of 2025. So we still got a while before we get another Superman movie, but hoping it looks good.
So real quick to that point, Superman Legacy announced for July 11th. Thunderbolts delayed to July 25th. So that's a week or two. Thunderbolts is a week or two after Superman. One of those is moving. One of those is not going to stay at that date. So,
you think 2 weeks is still too close?
Yes,
I was looking at that earlier when I was putting these notes together.
With how they're going to probably market Thunderbolts, and the return of some characters, bringing on big actors like Harrison Ford. They're going to probably all out market Thunderbolts pretty hard, in which case there's going to be a lot of butts and seats for that movie. And if it turns out to be a really solid Marvel movie, like we've known so many of them to be, Superman Legacy is not going to want to be near that, because they're going to want to have as much time and as many eyes on that as possible, as it's kind of kicking off the new DC universe. So yeah, I would imagine one of those is probably going to move.
So that's what's funny is it's a game of box office chicken. Which one's going to move? We were trying to figure that out with Barbie and Oppenheimer, like 2 big movies coming out on the same day. We're like, which one of them's going to move? Which of those 2 movies actually has the ability to say, no, I'm staying here. You move. Plant yourself like a tree and you move.
Right.
Freaking Sharon
well,
Carter.
So history has shown us that we've had the Captain America Civil War going out at the same time as Batman versus Superman. And I believe it was BVS that decided to pick themselves up and move, because, I mean, Captain America was the more established, guaranteed box office hit, and BVS was not necessarily tracking to be that.
Yeah. So very likely, I think you're right. It is going to be the Superman Legacy that's going to move, which is weird to say that a Superman movie is going to be the one that moves versus a movie that's kind of like a 3rd tier idea. Even though it may have some higher up people involved in it, it's still kind of like a 3rd tier, like Guardians of the Galaxy type movie. So kind of weird.
What was it? You had this showing that Fantastic Four is aiming for May?
Yes, Fantastic Four is still set for May of 2025. So they could move Superman. They could move Superman up like another week or 2, possibly.
They could do
I don't know
that,
what else
or
is.
I don't know why they don't aim towards like August for releases. Why is August? I guess because a lot of kids are going back to school. People are going back to school and stuff, so they don't really want to do that. But at the same time, like most people, usually Friday evenings when movies come out of school, go see a movie. Weekend time, you're not in school during the weekend, go see a movie. So that feels like a kind of a weak excuse to not do that.
August has always been a dead month for summer movies. That is where you push the movies that you don't expect to do very well.
So in my mind, it's a dead month because studios let it be a dead month. I would push Superman to August and start the trend of August not being dead because a big release is coming out that month.
That's not how the trend starts, though. The trend has to start with the people who are going to the theaters. And kind of like you said, if everyone's going back to school, they're not focused on movies.
Incorrect. That is how the trend starts. Avatar proved that in 2009.
Sure.
December was a dead month for movies. Nobody released big blockbusters in December. Avatar came out and changed the game forever.
Yeah, we'll see. And then the last one on here is The Fall Guy got delayed 2 months. So, yeah, when that was the Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt movie that's coming out.
Oh, I thought that was based off of that fun little game, The Fall Guys.
Fall Guys. I thought that would have been funny too, but yeah. So that's been delayed 2 months to May 3rd of 2024.
Interesting. Okay.
There you go. Anyways, let's get back into some other Marvel news real quick. So real quick, let's go to the Feige family updates. Hey, forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Feige, all right, okay, cool. Hey, moving on.
As we were moving on. So it was announced, I guess, like today that was it Daniel? I can't remember his name.
Daniel Destin Cretton.
Yeah. Daniel Destin Cretton is stepping down from directing Avengers Kang Dynasty.
That's unfortunate.
I know like a lot of people were saying that, well, that's going to do it for Kang. They're canceling Kang. Not necessarily yet. No one has officially said that movie is Kaputski. They're just saying that he's not directing it. Which could still potentially be happening.
Which combined with the fact that the writers are also jumping ship on that movie as well. That's why a lot of people right now are thinking that as well. Nice seat adjustment at the same time. That as well as the final episode of Loki and how that kind of works in with the storyline of what they're doing with Kang. A lot of people are theorizing that the MCU is kind of calling it a day on Kang. Specifically, we would all assume it's in regards to Jonathan Majors and his ongoing issue.
Well, so the thing with it is Jonathan Majors' his trial hasn't even started yet. So yeah. I don't know if Marvel would throw in like the towel already, especially because of how much they've already been building up with Kang. Also, if they were to just completely do away with Kang and say that he was done after Loki season 2, that it's kind of a letdown for that character. Like the most major thing that he's done was essentially in Quantumania, where he was like defeated by ants. And then what's going to happen with that post-credit scene? That post-credit scene is the biggest problem Marvel has right now, is how do you answer for all these other Kangs that exist right now?
Mm-hmm.
And we can't ditch that. We need to be talking about that at some point down the road. So yeah, I read about this. It doesn't look like they necessarily lost the writer. They had a previous writer write a draft for Kang Dynasty, but he has not officially signed on to be the writer for Kang Dynasty. So that's all they had as far as the writer, but the director has dropped out. He's also working on the Wonder Man show. So he's turning and focusing on that. And then right after he's done with that, he's going to be focusing on Shang-Chi too. So yeah. It's not a total loss. He is still working with Marvel, but he just doesn't want to do Kang Dynasty. So
yeah, and honestly, like what it amounts to in my mind is one of two things. Either A, everyone's right in their theorizing and Marvel will potentially be moving away from Kang. It's a possibility. It's not off the table. Or B, they're saying, hey, we don't 100% have confidence that this is the direction we're going to be able to move with this story given the situation going on right now. So we are offering the ability for you to kind of break the contract on doing that movie if you don't feel confident that you want to schedule, you want to put that in your schedule as the director, as people who are a part of that movie. You might not want to try to block out your schedule for that when it's not 100% guaranteed yet that we might still be moving forward on that project. So it might just be one of those situations where it's like, hey, you know, after Wonder Man, after Shang-Chi, yeah, if it's not a 100% guarantee from you guys right now that it is actually going to still happen, I am probably going to take this moment to kind of back out. I'll be able to kind of work off of these other projects and go get myself something else outside of Marvel that I really would like to do. So that's kind of what I imagine is happening there. Is they're giving him some freedom to breathe, and on top of that, I think we'll know for sure kind of what direction Marvel will want to move in once Jonathan Majors' trial is completed and we know the outcome of it.
Because Marvel's gonna be sitting there just watch, like Kevin Feige will be like right there watching that trial.
In the meantime, it is kind of crazy. There is a world where you can make a recast work. They would have to do a lot of the writer. You see the GIF online where it's like the writer of this movie, and it's a person with a pen and like the paper is on fire. Yeah, as they're trying to write, like they're writing some like hot stuff. Same thing. If they have to recast King, you know the writer's going to be having to. Well, look that writer better get paid, is what I'm saying.
Look how quickly they recasted Kevin Spacey in that one movie.
Yeah, it was like the oil Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, they replaced him with Christopher Plummer. That was like a little less than a month from the movie actually being released, and they stuck to that release date. They quickly replaced all of his scenes that have already been filmed and edited it together. That's amazing. Almost all the scenes. I think there is still like one or two shots that's like Kevin Spacey from behind back of his head or whatever, but
it don't matter. Yeah, all the money in the world, I believe, is that one. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. Me personally, I still would like to see Kang come to fruition, the full power of this character, because this character deserves to have the whole Avengers dream scenario. At that point, like if they have to recast, then recast. Just go for it. Just find a way to write it in, make it make sense. Just go for it. Don't cancel the entirety of the Kang character because of this. I still want to see Kang. I still want to see what Kang does in the MCU.
Yeah. That's like, well, yeah, they casted Rhodey without any mention. So the only thing different, though, is Rhodey was not the focal standpoint that stories were being built around.
It's also the start of the MCU. They could recast at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you're like 5 movies deep, it's hard to recast a major reoccurring character like that. Or, godly, in this case, trying to talk. In this case, it is kind of difficult to cast a character who you've already shown having a billion versions of himself with the same face or a very similar face. You can bet your sweet Bippy that Marvel is not going to do a post-credit scene like that ever again. They've learned a lesson.
Yeah. We don't need to go all in on one person like that.
Yeah.
Maggie Gyllenhaal as Kang. That'll work.
I would watch it. I don't know if I'd enjoy it, but I would watch it.
Yeah. Poor choice of words. Anyways, so the other big story that also came out today. So we've all of us were all aware that it was said that Matt Shakman has said that once the strike is over, he'll announce the cast for Fantastic Four. Everyone's already been casted. It's over. It's done with. They're just waiting for the strikes to end so they can formally announce it. So the actors can also turn around like, yay, I'm the Thing, or I'm Mr. Fantastic. So now that the strike's over, we're all sitting here like, anytime now. And I think they said someone was reporting that the announcement will be made like towards the end of next week. Towards the end of next week is Thanksgiving. So I don't know if that how well that's going to be unless they quickly squeeze it in on Black Friday where no one's paying attention or caring because they're all shopping. So It does look like that there was a casting announcement that was made today. It doesn't look like it's 100% official, even though some outlets are reporting that it is official, that Pedro Pascal has signed on to play Reed Richards, which I don't think is necessarily a bad casting. He is in a lot of stuff, and I thought it was funny because it was like, what, yesterday or the day before, you were asking me, is Pedro Pascal, has he done anything in the MCU yet? And I was like, no.
Not yet.
I don't think so.
My spider sense was tingling.
Why?
What?
Oh, because you were just asking if he's been in the MCU?
Yeah. I was like, has he been in the MCU yet? My spider sense was tingling. Like, Pedro Pascal is due for an MCU role, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It does look like currently our good buddy Jeff Snyder is out there reporting. Absolutely nothing is 100% confirmed yet, but he is reporting as of right now what looks to be your cast at the moment. Again, nothing 100% confirmed. He is reporting that it looks like Vanessa Kirby is going to be Susan Storm. Joseph Quinn is going to be Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things fame this last season, played Eddie, is going to be your Human Torch. And Ebon Moss-Baccarat, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He is famous from The Bear, that show The Bear, as well as having had a role in season 1 of Andor. He is your choice for Ben Grimm, which actually he is not a bad choice. He's a fantastic choice for Ben Grimm, honestly.
He's fantastic.
He's a fantastic choice. And then, of course, as Jeremy mentioned in the chat earlier, Jeff Snyder is also reporting that right now it does look like Marvel hasn't signed the dotted line yet, but is leaning towards wanting Javier Bardem to portray Galactus in the film. So
Javier Bardem as Galactus is
I approve of that casting.
Bad choice.
I approve of that casting 100%.
What was it before? Was it who's the Javier Bardem lookalike?
Which one? You're thinking comedian, right?
Yes.
Oh man, what's his name? Oh, blanking on his name right now. You guys know, comedian from Watchmen. He was also in The Walking Dead, played Negan.
Yeah, he was Negan in Walking Dead.
Y'all know his name. Come on, shout out in the chat. Why you guys?
I feel like he's got like a 3-name name.
Why y'all take Jeffrey Dean Morgan? I got it before I saw it in the chat. No one said it in the chat quick enough. I got it.
I want to say I heard that he was up for Galactus, so I'm guessing he passed, and so they got Javier Bardem, which would make sense. Galactus doesn't look like Javier Bardem. It's kind of hard to tell because I mean you got to keep in mind he's probably going to face that mask and helmet thing on. I think the like casting hard. Well, first of all, Galactus, I'm willing to bet is probably going to be CGI. I can see them going with Javier Bardem just off of the voice alone. Javier Bardem has a very deep, imposing voice. You listen to him talk in No Country for Old Men, like that. Was it the quarter scene in that where he's flipping the quarter? Close your eyes and just listen to how he talks. I can hear Galactus in that. Jeffrey Dean Morgan doesn't look like Javier Bardem. I thought that they looked a lot alike together.
There are times when they very much do look similar, depending on the picture, angle, lighting, all that stuff. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes
I've gotten them confused plenty of times. But yeah, I think Javier Bardem as Galactus is a good choice.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm not mad at any of the casting for that at all. Vanessa Kirby. I think Vanessa Kirby is going to be a little bit younger than I would like for, say, like Pedro Pascal is 48. Vanessa Kirby is 35. I kind of would like them a little bit closer, but the thing with this to also read into it is with Pedro Pascal being casted as Mr. Fantastic and he's 48 years old, this means we're going to be getting a Fantastic Four that is already a family. They already have their powers. Reed and Sue are already married, and they already have Franklin, their child. So this is all going to already be in existence when this Fantastic Four movie starts. I'm willing to bet, much like what the MCU did with Spider-Man, we're probably not going to get an actual origin movie of the Fantastic Four. We may, at the very least, get like some kind of a nod or a flashback or a passing mention as to how they got their powers, but we're not going to outright see the origin because, again, of how old they are. We're not starting them younger.
I can see them also doing the Incredible Hulk route where you see like the origin story unfold in the opening credits or something like that.
Yeah.
Which they don't really do opening credit sequences as much anymore. So maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it when they did that for Incredible Hulk. I think that was a good way to catch everyone up on the origin. That was also the 1994 Fantastic Four cartoon that was on TV, a part of the Marvel Action Hour with Iron Man. They did that in the cartoon's opening credits. The whole opening was retelling the origin. And then the first 3 episodes of that show was also the origin. So that was kind of weird. But yeah, I expect them to do something like that. This is already going to be a family that's already put together, which means they are going to be pushing for a lot more of that family dynamic instead of so much about them being superheroes. Which I love, because I don't think we really haven't gotten that. We definitely didn't get that in Fan Four Stick. We kind of got a little bit of that in the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, but not as much as I would like. They were always supposed to be family first and superhero second. So I'm happy with that casting. If that turns out to be true, I love that for that casting, and I think we're going to have some really good stories with it. My only worry is if they're going to introduce Galactus right off the bat. That means they're also going to be introducing Silver Surfer right off the bat. And I'm not so happy about that. I don't want Silver Surfer right away. I know we need to hurry up and get Silver Surfer in the MCU, as he's probably one of the most popular Marvel characters that has yet to be introduced into the MCU. But, late to the party's here. We got it in The Incredibles. Yeah, that's what I say. The Incredibles is easily the better Fantastic Four movie over all the Fantastic Four movies.
I will say that we did get a pretty solid family dynamic in the Tim Story Fantastic Four movie, which is why it's on our marquee list for family movies.
Yeah. But yeah. Thank you for throwing that off. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of them wanting to introduce Silver Surfer and Galactus right away. That needs to be like the post-credits tease, is that Silver Surfer and Galactus are coming. I want more of just a focus on their family and Doom. Like make Dr. Doom the main villain, and that's it.
I don't know. It's for me, I'm kind of at this point. Listen, regardless of how you feel about certain movies in the Marvel pantheon, as far as the MCU goes, I pretty well still trust Kevin Feige. He does pretty solid job. He knows these characters pretty well. I know he knows the Fantastic Four pretty well. And so therefore, whatever storyline they go with, however they want to do it, I pretty much trust that he's got a good solid plan behind it. If they're going to do Galactus and subsequently Silver Surfer in this movie, I trust that he's got a good storyline and a good way to introduce them and bring them in. What I would imagine is that they would probably also announce like a Silver Surfer film or something that's going to springboard off the back of this, and it will be one of those type situations like the Captain America movie where it'll be like bookended with, past and present times. Like the first Captain America movie obviously was bookended with present day. You might see that with Silver Surfer where it's bookended with present day, and then the entire movie is his origin story in the past, how he got linked up with Galactus and all of that to begin with. So I could see that being the situation, in which case Silver Surfer, his movie basically kind of takes place more or less before the Fantastic Four movie timeline wise.
See, I like that also because the 90s Silver Surfer cartoon, the first, when they did the origin, there was a lot of focus on his home planet, Zenlaw, where they were having like the Kree and the Skrull come to Zenlaw because Zenlaw is a peaceful planet. They had the Kree and the Skrull come to negotiate a peace treaty. That would make sense given where we're at in the MCU right now, especially after the Marvels with the whole Skrull and Kree stuff still happening.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, and I would like it if they were to incorporate Kree and Skrull that way. That way it still has that link to the MCU.
The other thing we're not saying, and I'm looking at Snyder's tweets to see what he's put out. The other thing that we're not really thinking about here is it 100% guaranteed that Galactus is actually the main villain of the first Fantastic Four movie? Or is there just news about it and he's only going to be playing like a small role, maybe towards the back end of the movie?
So the way I would do it is, like I said, and this is going to sound very familiar because this is what Tim Story basically did. I would make the first movie the Fantastic Four versus Doom, and that's it. Yep. The end of that movie is teasing that Galactus and the Silver Surfer are coming. The second movie is going to be pretty much what we got from Tim's story. It would be the Silver Surfer, the coming of Galactus, and Doom is trying to steal the Silver Surfer's powers. The only reason I would continue to go that route is because that's going to set it up as Doom is always power hungry. He's always looking for a huge source of superhuman power. He wants to steal it, and he wants to be the ruler of everything. So he wants to take Silver Surfer's power. That would lead into Secret Wars where he's trying to take the Beyonders' powers. That would make sense, and that would be a good way to escalate Doom to be a Thanos or Kang level villain for the MCU.
I would mirror Incredibles, and I wouldn't even hide it, and have the first Fantastic Four movie end with Mole Man coming up out of the under the city streets.
That would be great.
Him showing up and being like, "I'm here to take over," and then be like, "Who is this?" And like they begin the fight with Mole Man or whatever, and that's when Silver Surfer swoops down right at the end of the movie. Yeah. And they're like, what? And that just kind of takes all the attention off of Mole Man. I think that would be hilarious.
Honey, where's my super suit?
Yeah, and then you get a Nick Fury cameo.
I need it for the greater good. I'm your wife. I'm the greatest good you ever gonna get. I love that line. That is the best line ever.
Anyway, that's the news right now. Obviously, if we're doing a tagline next week, we'll probably have some of this a little more harder confirmed by the time that show goes live. So hopefully. I know they were talking about actually officially making the real announcements at the end of next week, but the problem with that is this stuff is going to get out regardless of when they schedule it. So I would imagine we're going to get the news sources. We're going to get folks like Snyder putting this news out there. And then you're going to see Disney and Marvel kind of try to get ahead of it by just, you know what, we're just going to bump up our announcement time.
With Snyder saying it right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually release something official like tomorrow.
Yeah, within the next 24 to 48 hours, I would say that we will have the Fantastic Forecast 100% confirmed.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the main story, let's talk about this Coyote versus Acme situation. Now, I don't know if I really have anything to add to it that we haven't already learned on Twitter. First of all, I didn't even know this movie existed before it was announced that they were canceling it.
I didn't either.
And it's sad because it's a James Gunn. Was it written by James Gunn or just produced by James Gunn? He has a hand in it. He just produced it. He had a hand in it, and it's really sad because I like what James Gunn has done for a while now. So, but yeah, apparently it was announced that they wanted to cancel it. They wanted to Batgirl the movie, so to speak. Which is sad. There's a lot of people that worked on this movie. They poured like blood, sweat, and tears into making a movie. They're proud. They're happy for this movie. And here's basically Zavzav. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So I don't care. Whatever. He's making dumb decisions. He doesn't deserve to get his name pronounced properly. Like here he is making the decision. Let's just can it. Let's get attacked right off and whatever.
Listen, I get it, WB. You got John Cena in your movie, but that doesn't mean that we have to not be able to see the movie.
Great.
Yeah. So this is something that's been going on. Obviously, WB did this. The first time we kind of hear about this really in recent time is with Batgirl. and how, you know, that movie was completed and everything. And then and then it gets canned basically for the tax write-off. We've heard that Disney has done similar things for, I believe, for tax write-off purposes as well. Namely, the big prominent one being that the Willow series. I can't remember if this is exactly for a tax write-off, so don't quote me on that.
Probably not, since it actually was released.
But the probably the Willow series being removed from Disney Plus, and so that unless you pirate it at this point, there's really no real way of seeing the Willow series if you wanted to watch that still, because it was only released on Disney Plus. So it's kind of the same situation here, wherein a movie's completed, ready to go. In this case, though, it's crazy because this movie was people were liking it. Test audiences were liking it. They were enjoying it. They were like, "This is a good movie. This is great. We love it." And then WB's like, "Yeah, okay, nope, never mind. We're just gonna cancel it for tax purposes." It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense for them to do that.
And there was, like, even before they officially decide to can it, there was a recommendation. Well, can we shop it around to someone else so someone else can buy it from us? We make the money that way, and we can release it. And Zaslav was like, "No, I don't want to do that." Which I can kind of understand that if I make something, I don't want to give it or sell it to someone else for them to make the money off of it.
Right.
It's my creation. It's my possession. I'm allowed to release it and make the money or not. Or
in this case, it's a bigger way of looking at it, though.
Or it gets sold off and someone else releases it, and then I'm going to go back and just re-release it, re-record it myself, and re-release it under my name and make all the money off of it and lower the value of the other one. Oh wait, that's Taylor Swift. Never mind.
Whoops.
Speaking of which, I know we're talking about movies, and Taylor has a movie out. I love what she's doing with that Taylor's version. I think that's so, like, I'm watching and reading about that. It's great. Anyways, beside the point. So they decided to cancel this. Apparently there's people that are calling for a federal investigation. I don't know if I actually read that they are going to have a federal investigation.
There was a congressman who was putting it out there calling for a federal investigation.
So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I mean, here's 2 movies from Warner Brothers. I have not heard of any other studio canceling a movie like this, a movie that was done, filmed, completed, and not being released. This is unheard of. Now, it might be that movie studios have done that before, and we just haven't heard that because of the popularity of the internet. Now, any small thing that happens in any movie studio is going to be blasted on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know if I was reading the example that congressman was using correctly, but it looks like he was saying, like, this is akin to buying a piece of property with a building on it and then, like, essentially burning the building down, committing arson so you can get the insurance money off of it, and kind of just like trying to make the some kind of like situation like that, where it's like, this is technically not like the legal way to go in order to handle stuff like this. So I don't know. We'll see if that investigation goes through or not. But my thing is this big story about it being shopped around still. Yeah. And that they're trying that I believe is Netflix, Apple, and Amazon, I think, are like the big potential buyers for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought, honestly, I'm going to put this out here. I put it on Twitter. I'm going to put this out here on the show too, is it will land at one of those places. There's a lot of buzz around it right now. This is generating buzz around that movie. And this is built-in marketing already for the film. If it lands on one of those streamers, plus Looney Tunes are a big brand name in and of themselves, so they'll always have eyes on them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you got John Cena's in the lead. People like that guy, I guess. So, you've got a lot of eyes potentially on this for various reasons. It's going to land at one of those streamers, and when it does, I suggest that we all watch it. I mean, whether we enjoy it or not, play it again. And just play it again.
Playing over and over and over again.
And then play it again. And just play it on loop. Do other things.
Racking up the views.
Go about your life. Go clean your kitchen. Go to work. Go take the kids to their soccer game. Whatever. And just let the movie just play in loop. Just let it play and play and play. so that whatever streamer ends up getting it gets all the success for it, and that the board members at WB turn and look at Zaslav and go, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, that would be funny.
That'd be hilarious. I don't know if that's exactly how that works, probably, but
it's a fun thought.
The thought is funny.
I like this other one too. Is that a lot of creative people now are telling their agents to ignore calls from Warner Brothers,
cancel meetings.
Which this is going to be hurtful because we're still in the process of James Gunn building up his DC universe to be potentially a cinematic universe on the level with what the MCU at least used to be, how the MCU
still
was.
Is.
It still is, and
still
like in my opinion, I believe the MCU is still doing well, but yeah, like they're wanting to compete on that level, and it's going to be kind of hard if everyone's turning down calls from Warner Brothers. Yeah. So like you turn down calls from Warner Brothers, but at least still answer James Gunn's calls, possibly.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to sign up to be in your new Batman movie? After seeing what they did to Batgirl in that Looney Tunes movie, I don't know if I can commit to being in that. Oh, WB wants to make Barbie 2. Margot Robbie doesn't necessarily want to commit to doing Barbie 2 because what if they don't like it and they just want to take a big old tax write-off on it? I don't know if we can do that necessarily.
Yeah,
it's not a good look. It's a bad look for them to be doing that. And of course, the very serious note is if I were a creative in Hollywood, yeah, I would not feel confident in wanting to commit to doing a movie for WB. And here's the big reason. Obviously, we know the professional creatives, actors, writers, directors, they all get paid to do the job. They all show up, they film the movie, they're all getting paid to film that movie. The problem is how long does a movie take to film? If it's a big one, several months. And then you've got, a few months of pre-production, you've got several months of post-production. It can take upwards over about a year, a little over a year, to fully get a movie completed from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big chunk of time for any professional creative to devote to a project that no one's going to see.
Yeah, and that's why I said that hurts.
If I were one of them and knowing full well that life is short and I only have so many years of my life that can, I can function and in those functioning years be able to shoot and produce movies, I'm not going to devote any of that time to a company that may just not let my work, my art, the thing that I'm producing be seen by people. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my life if I can't also bring joy in some form to people through the entertainment and what I'm doing. It's not all just about money.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I were a professional creative, no, I would probably be like, W, you gotta earn our trust at this point. You gotta earn it. And I think one of the big ways that WB can earn the trust of the people is to get rid of the guy making the decisions.
Yep, possibly. Anyways, as far as I know, there's nothing else involving Coyote versus Acme. I'm pretty sure we'll continue to hear more about this over the course of this next week because if they truly are shopping it to the other streamers, I'm pretty sure they're going to catch that real quick. So this might be something that's actually over like in a day or two. So
yeah. Anyways. And so for that begins our new segment. It's Coyote versus Acme Watch. I'm just kidding.
Like, where's this going to go? Anyways. So that is going to do it for the tagline tonight. Again, those of y'all, if you're a patron at the $5 tier, come join us here in about 40 minutes or so over on our Discord. We are watching the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, childhood favorite of mine. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm always happy to watch that movie. So we will be watching that. Trivia will be on the 29th at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern after the tagline on that night. We do have the marquee coming up. Oh, yeah. So Ninja Turtles watch along tonight. We do have the marquee coming up on the 17th, this Friday at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Again, if you are on our Patreon, you can go to the Discord, go to the Marquee channel on the Discord and see the entire list of movies that we are tier ranking on there. So go check that out as well. Come back on Friday and join us for Ranksgiving, the Marquee.
You know what?
I
forgot what I look like without a goatee.
You have a goatee. It just looks like it's your hand.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, come join us for that. Also, I forgot to mention it towards the beginning of the show. I am going to go see Thanksgiving tomorrow night. So I will have an out of the theater reaction tomorrow evening for that. I will have a review up on Friday during the day. And I believe Saturday I will be doing a quick ranking of all of the Grindhouse movies. So any of the movies associated with Grindhouse or movies that have been made from the fake trailers of Grindhouse, I will be ranking all of those on Saturday. So come check out that video. That will be spread across all social, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. So watch that wherever you can.
For lack of a better term for whatever this kind of facial hair is, yeah.
He's got the chin pubes.
I don't like, no, we're not, no. Hard no.
Anyways, again, that's going to do it for Tagline tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Thank everyone who was here live in the chat. If you are watching this on a replay, we thank you for watching it as well, both live and replay. Please let us know your thoughts and feelings down below in the comments. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. You can follow us at The Cinefanatics on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me personally at Robert Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and youtube.com/@RobertAdamsMLP.
You can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/ChrisAdamsMLP.
Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all for watching. We will see y'all, hopefully you patrons, here in a little while in the Discord. Good night.
Bye.
But that's all, folks.